But
I like it a lot. All right, let's not even mince words. Let's get right into it. Sony and Disney divorcing. Spider-Man no more? Question mark. It was reported late last night by Deadline that Sony and Marvel are having issues. Here is the original exclusive. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige won't produce any further Spider-Man films because of an inability by Disney and Sony to reach new terms that would have given the former a co-financing stake going forward. A dispute has taken place over the past few months at the top of Disney and Sony, has essentially nixed Feige and the future involvement of Marvel from the Spider-Man universe. Sources said there are 2 more Spider-Man films in the works, and the studio hopes to have director John Watts and Tom Holland front and center, though Watts doesn't have a deal for the next picture, and it isn't a lock to return, and he isn't a lock to return. That isn't helped by the fact that unless something dramatic happens, Feige won't be the lead creative producer of those pictures. There's a lot of webbing here, but it all comes down to money, and it's easy to understand why both sides refuse to give ground. Disney asked that future Spider-Man films be a 50-50 co-financing agreement, and there were discussions this might extend to other films in the Spider-Man universe. Sony turned that offer down flat. Sources said that Sony, led by Tom Rothman, came back with another configuration, but Disney didn't want to do that. Sony did not want to share its biggest franchise. Sure, Disney would be putting up half the funding, but the risk is in how much you're going to make back in profit. Disney wasn't at all interested in continuing the current terms where Marvel receives in the range of 5% of the first dollar gross. I have a take on this that is very Hassanian, and that is to slow your roll, to not be so concerned right now, but I want to hear what your take is before I jump into mine. What's your immediate reaction to this news?
I think it's stupid. I think it's a power play by Sony. I think I've been reading the trades and whatnot, and I do think that Sony kind of has the upper hand because they got ownership rights of the character. But look, they couldn't launch this thing on their own.
Yeah,
they couldn't launch. They did a really good job with Sam Raimi.
Mm-hmm.
Those Spider-Man movies, and those movies are beloved. And then they tried, and then they railroaded Sam Raimi, and then hired Andrew Garfield and what's his name, Webb. I forget his name. Mark Webb, I think, is his name. The director of the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
And those movies were almost universally, they did okay. Neither of them did as well as even Spider-Man 3, which is supposedly Raimi's worst Spider-Man, right?
Yep.
Worst showing as Spider-Man. Neither of the 2 Amazing Spider-Man movies did as well as Spider-Man 3. And they weren't universally panned. I'm not going to rewrite the script. But they really had a weight on them because of how the studio went about making those movies happen. Wasn't Mark Webb's fault. Wasn't It wasn't Andrew Garfield's fault. And they also tried to do these things. They were trying to copy the Marvel formula from the start, except they wanted to do it within the universe of Spider-Man in and of itself, with the Sinister Six and the Scarlet Spider, all kinds of these little threads that they were trying to sew into the fabric of the films themselves.
Yeah.
And it just was a weight. Those movies could never get launched. They could never take off. And, they ended up licensing the character out to Marvel. Marvel took the character to these amazing heights.
So this is
it literally Marvel has and I will shut up.
No.
I promise. Marvel has the favor of the mob, right?
Yeah.
Marvel provides the bread and circuses.
Yeah.
People have capitulated and they follow Marvel with devotion. Marvel is going to get the lion's share of public opinion on this situation. They've done right by the Spider-Man character. There is some complaints that they're trying to turn Spider-Man into Iron Man. And even I complained a little bit about the fact that Marvel doesn't seem to like secret identities.
Yeah, I guess not, right?
Yeah, that's a little bit of an edge onto the Spider-Man thing. But look, the 2 Spider-Man movies, Far From Home and the previous one, Homecoming, are good movies, are really good Marvel movies, Marvel Spider-Man movies, and they launched off. They are bona fide hits. Sony has a Venom, which did really well for it, but it also has the animated Spider-Man, the Into the Spider-Verse.
It's got leverage when it comes to it, right?
The Spider-Verse is a great movie. Great movie. One of my favorite movies. Great Spider-Man movie. But it didn't kill at the box office. So
Oh yeah, it did.
It didn't. It wasn't. It wasn't a runaway monster hit. Like,
it wasn't $1 billion. I get that, but it was.
It was an animated movie. It made
exceeded all expectations. It exceeded all expectations.
But what I'm saying is that Sony has bragging rights to the character.
Yeah.
They have ownership rights to the character. But they financially, they show up to the party kind of empty-handed.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, it's the egos that's doing this whole thing. And I mean, look, Feige does not need Spider-Man. He doesn't.
That's his favorite character, apparently.
It's his favorite. He likes the character. It's his favorite character. He's worked it in well into the MCU, but Sony's pulling this move before Marvel has lodged Spider-Man in as an essential component of Phase 4.
But I wonder, see, that's the whole thing, though, right? Just from reading the article, and look, I'm trying to really parse everything before I give you my 100%.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm mouthing off now for you.
This is I read this morning on Twitter from one of the Fandango editors. He says sources confirm that they're still negotiating. Like, this is not a done deal. The deadline article was updated at 8:55 last night Pacific time, so that's around midnight. The Twitter feed that I saw said, hey, this is not a done deal. So really what it comes down to, in my mind, is this is a power play by Marvel. How does this stuff get leaked out? Do you know what I mean? Like, this gets leaked out. Sony didn't leak it out. In fact, Sony released a statement after the deadline article came out. This is a move by Marvel and Kevin Feige. This is like, again, for sports people, this makes total sense, but for non-sports fans, when you want to put pressure on a free agent you're supposed to sign, or one of your own that you're trying to give to an extension to, or they're holding out, or whatever the case is, you leak stuff to the media. You put pressure on them.
That they're causing trouble, that they're upsetting the apple cart.
Right. And so this report to me, and look, I will not stake my reputation because I have no reputation, so it's great. This to me,
my reputation is linked to yours, so don't mess with yours.
Gotcha,
Okay.
Gotcha. This report to me is not oh my God, are they not going to be able to reference Tony Stark ever again? What are they going to do with that cliffhanger ending? Are they going to lose a director? Which all could happen. Look, this could all ultimately happen.
Could go bad.
I look at this report as, okay, Sony, you don't want to bow to the almighty mouse? Well, then we're going to throw this out here that you're causing problems in the negotiations. So here's the updated deadline article as well too. Sony Pictures spent much of yesterday trying to spin deadline about the prospective loss of Kevin Feige. So again, this is a power play back and forth. First, the studio downplayed the idea he might be leaving. Then they pinned his exit on his added responsibilities from Fox, from the Fox acquisition. All this reflected as factors in Deadline's break of an important and widely regurgitated story, but sources maintain Feige's exit was about the money. It was about Disney seeking the 50-50 Ko-Fi stake as the price for Marvel and Feige's continued guiding hand that resulted in delivering Sony's biggest grossing film ever. So on the one end, Disney's like, hey, we did what we said we were going to do. We've saved Spider-Man for you. Spider-Man's now the biggest thing since Avengers Endgame. It's a better movie too. And we want to get we want this, instead of being $5, 5% on the dollar, we want to get 50-50. And Sony's like, last I checked, we own everything. We delivered Venom, which was a huge hit. We delivered Spider-Verse, which was a huge hit. No. Disney goes, okay, we're going to leak this to Deadline. Sony's not playing ball. Kevin Feige's out. John Watts, who may or may not here's the thing. There is an open question whether the next two films, which Sony is planning to do, will include John Watts, the director of the first two films. It does have Tom Holland signed. He's the only one that is officially signed.
He's stuck. He's stuck.
I got. Right. And
did you see his tweet?
I didn't see his tweet. What was his tweet specifically?
I think Marvel tweeted something like Spider-Man, Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, and then it said underneath, what's the title of the third one? And Tom Holland tweeted Spider-Man Homeless.
Yeah, it's it's not 100% untrue.
No, it's not. It's not. And I mean, he's stuck. The poor kid. He's stuck doing it. He's a unique factor into all of it because listen, it is well known that Tobey Maguire is a lot of people's favorite Spider-Man. Sure. Right? Mm-hmm. Andrew Garfield got a lot of heat because he wasn't Tobey Maguire. Yeah. I didn't mind Andrew Garfield. I liked him. I didn't like his Peter Parker. I liked his Spider-Man. Yeah. I didn't dislike his Peter Parker. It was just different. It was a little too different. But it wasn't his fault at all. It wasn't anything he did. His movies, his acting was fine. His movies are good. Mm-hmm. So they put in Tom Holland, and I from what I understand, it wasn't. Tom Holland is not Marvel's pick. Marvel did not pick Tom Holland. I think Sony picked Tom Holland.
Interesting. Okay.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I won't quote you on that. That's interesting. I mean, it's amazing now. I mean, the aftermath now is he's everyone's Spider-Man right now.
Yes. Now, what's unique and ironic about him is that Tom Holland comes in this kind of role that is contentious. Yeah. And he pretty much lands it for everybody, right? Yeah. He captures everybody. So there's no ill will from the Tobey Maguire fans. There's they're still embracing Holland without needing to mock Andrew Garfield. Yeah. So it was like an easy transition. It was an easy fit. Yeah. So this Spider-Man, this particular iteration of the franchise, got everything going for it. Yeah. Except these monster studios just getting greedy. And then, of course, Kevin Feige. I'm gonna say something bad about the man. So send your angry letters to
Secrets of the Side
151 Wells Avenue.
I like that. I'm not even gonna say what reference that is.
Yeah, exactly. Send it there.
Someone gets a no prize if they figure out what that means.
Yeah, exactly. Send all your angry letters there. But Kevin Feige and who's the main guy at Sony who is also fighting?
It said Tom. I can get you the exact name in a second because it's there, but I can't find it. Keep going. Tom Rothman.
Yeah, but he's like, Tim. What's his name?
Tom Rothman.
Tom Rothman. Okay, so it's
Tony Vinciquera.
They're the politicians in the War Pigs song, right? They neither of them fight the wars. They didn't start the war. They started the war. Neither of them fight the wars. Neither of them are combatants. Neither of them are the creative components behind it. And they're the ones who are arguing over how much money each of them is going to get. Yeah. Meanwhile, everybody else is on the field trying to figure out whether they're going to have a job or not. Where they're going to eat their lunch or whether they're going to be able to feed their families. This is kind of an ugly situation, and neither of them is going to come out of it clean.
Well, I think at the end of the day, people will invariably forget all this even happened if what I predict is going to happen.
Go ahead. You didn't really even give your take on it, did you?
Well, I did. I said this is all a power play. This report.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's a sports thing.
You just don't listen to me.
No, I did listen. I didn't realize
my point
was the actual point of view. Though.
Yeah, is that everyone's kind of freaking out, and I'm sitting here saying we still got another year and a half before they would even start filming another film.
Yeah, Spider-Man's not even going to be in the next few Marvel movies.
Exactly.
So, I mean, they have a long time to fix this.
Exactly. And it even says it and we'll leave it on this note because we've got a jam-packed show today.
Yeah, it's gonna be
ironically, I jam-packed.
I'm gonna switch the lighting in here also because
I jam-packed topics because we had nothing going on. So we have a jam-packed show to get through, and I want to get to a lot of the cool things.
And all this explodes.
Coming here as well too, but this is what the statement from Sony is. Much of today's news about Spider-Man has mischaracterized recent discussions about Kevin Feige's involvement in the franchise. We are disappointed, but respect Disney's decision not to have him continue as lead producer. We hope this might change in the future.
And they're saying he's not lead producer of the Spider-Man movies.
Yes.
Right? Okay, correct. So
Correct.
You know, like none of the Marvel fans are losing anything from the MCU.
Well, technically speaking, he would pull them from the MCU. He can do that. Then, is that if he does not continue on, there's no deal between Disney and Marvel. There's no deal between Disney and Marvel. There's no Spider-Man in the MCU.
Disney and Marvel. You mean?
I mean, sorry,
Sony
yeah,
and Marvel.
Sony and Marvel. Yeah, Sony. And
okay,
Disney.
so yeah, but I'm saying this is another thing. You're saying stay calm. I'm saying it's a bad move. Even if you have ownership rights, even if you have the principle of it, you do not have the lion's share of this situation. You're going to lose public opinion. I guarantee you they're going to lose it.
They're losing it already, and that's my point. That's why I think Marvel leaked this to begin with.
Right. They're going to lose public opinion. They're going to lose their financial backing because there's the next Spider-Man movie, the next Sony Spider-Man movie without Marvel is not going to make $1 billion. It is not.
Yeah.
I will put my reputation on the line to say it won't. And I only use past performance as a template because even Venom didn't make $1 billion. It was close.
Right.
890 million, but it didn't make the $1 billion sweep. Right. Meanwhile, Spider-Man Far From Home coasted way past it. Coasted very evenly into it. They're going to lose that. They don't have the lion's share. MCU could pick up its game and keep moving. Right.
Yeah.
To use your sports analogy, they play another away game. With the bulk of the team. They don't need the free agent, So, I mean, it would be nice if he was there, but they don't need him. And that's the shame about it. This power play is
well, I just think
it's
right
morally right. It's inconveniently timed, and it's going to get them.
Well, it's conveniently timed because we had nothing else to talk about. But it is
for us
basically being played out in the public right now. These are just negotiations. These things, you probably have 1 billion of these type of things going on that don't get played out in the public.
Right.
That's my ultimate prediction, though. I think ultimately we are going to see.
I'm very sorry to say I agree with you. I think it's going to work itself out.
Spectacular turnaround.
Please go on to youtube.com, hit the subscribe button, go to Apple Podcasts, subscribe to us that way, Spotify, SoundCloud, any which way, Instagram, Sire Studios. Please check us out and give us a like, give us a comment, and give us a subscribe as we run down the news of the day.